emergency podcast or celebratory podcast, however you're feeling today. Definitely a festive day for us over here at Dealing the Cards, but we've got a loaded show to talk about. Obviously, the Cardinals coming off an unfortunate loss to the Rockies last night, but some big news that Andrew is very excited to break to all of you. Probably have already seen it. But yeah, we'll get to all that and more up next on the show.
Oh, that's my job to hit this.
No intro from Andrew. There we go. Welcome back to another episode of Dealing the Cards. We're down Josh today, but he will potentially join us later. We'll see. It's up in the air. But we just had to get live and talk about some huge news rocking the Cardinals world today. So, Andrew, tell us what's going on.
So after yesterday's just honestly horrific start from Erick Fedde, where he gave up 6 runs in 3 innings pitched to the Colorado Rockies, who are the worst team in baseball history, Cardinals decided that they were going to pull the plug, and they have designated Erick Fedde for assignment. It doesn't mean that he's just off the team now. He could be outrighted to Memphis. That's a possibility. I don't think he'll take that. I think he'll just leave as a free agent if that were to happen. The Cardinals could release him if they can't find a suitor for him after 7 days, but they also have 7 days to just trade him to a different club. And this is just unfortunate, right? Because all offseason, you can go back on this podcast, as soon as the Cardinals announced that they were going to sort of go into a retool, rebuild, whatever you want to call it, a re-something this year. They're going to start shopping veterans around. You know, like Arenado was supposed to be traded. Contreras and Gray probably would have been traded if they had not decided to stay with their no trade clauses. And then other guys like Steven Matz, Ryan Helsley, Erick Fedde were guys that the Cardinals decided they wanted to keep. But we were pretty vocal about Erick Fedde in particular, not keeping him and trading him for whatever we could get for him in the offseason, which is, going to be far and away what you can get for him now. And before we get into this, like, yes, Erick Fedde is a great guy. He's handled this significantly better than a lot of other players. For example, Miles Michaelis, who his comments after his rough start, although not quite as bad as, Erick Fedde giving up that many runs in such a short outing to literally the worst team of all time. He kind of was just talking about how he got, unlucky in certain aspects. He made a couple bad pitches, and that's what ended up being the case in an otherwise solid outing for him. Miles Michaelis not taking accountability. Erick Fedde was speaking to the media, basically telling them that the team deserves better, and the team agreed today that they're going to move on from him and give Michael McGreevy a chance to start, which good for Michael McGreevy, honestly, because as a starting pitcher, he spent basically no time on the major league roster. It's just every time that he gets a start, he gets the major league roster. He gets on the major league roster, and then he gets sent down. And for people who know how major league player salary works, he basically gets paid for 1 day on the roster when he probably should be paid for like a full turn in the rotation. That's not. So I'm glad that McGreevy will actually get to stick around. He's earned it. He pitched well against the Rockies, all things considered. Only gave up 2 runs in a 7-inning start. So, I think it's good to move on from him. Hopefully Erick Fedde can find another team, whether it's here or elsewhere in like Asia, and find success again. But I'm glad that the Cardinals have cut ties with him, because it was quite honestly way too late.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, right? Like, you asked me before we went live today, did Christmas come early or did Christmas come late? And I agree with you. This move is way too late from the Cardinals. I think it's really disappointing, and we'll break down all of that later. But I just think it's a huge mistake that they let him go out there this long. I mean, there's a lot of problems with it, right? Like, they did Erick Fedde a disservice. Erick Fedde, everybody in the world knew that he was not going to pitch well last night against the Colorado Rockies. And I don't think anybody was surprised. I mean, maybe you were surprised by how bad it was. 6 earned runs, 2 bombs against the worst team to ever take the field. Only lasted 3 innings, which has been a trend in some recent Erick Fedde starts. I mean, he didn't even get out of the second earlier this year against the Cubs. But overall, just super disappointed. But I think it's also a real shame in terms of just what it did to Erick Fedde. Like, the Cardinals should have pulled the plug on this probably a month ago, right? They're 2-10 in his last 12 starts. They're 5-15 on the season when Erick Fedde pitches. He's probably not getting another shot to pitch for a major league ball club after this. I mean, maybe somebody picks him up. I can't imagine somebody is going to pick him up and give him another chance this year. Maybe he gets a minor league deal or something like that. But I mean, any value he had, and he was coming off a great year last year, any value he had at this point, beyond cooked. It's going to take him a long time to figure out whatever's going on. Definitely screws his chances at signing a major league deal this offseason. So feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, like, come on, Cards. So, I mean, I think the big thing we need to ask is, why did it take this long? You know, what do you think, Andrew? Why on earth did they keep running him out there? How would it take this long to get this guy off your roster?
I mean, the optics looked really bad all year. Like, you look at his walk numbers, his hard hit numbers, you look at his expected ERA numbers. They were bad from day one of 2025. Like, it just was never good with Erick Fedde. As much as some people would like to say that he was solid throughout most of the season, yes, he had like a low threes for a little bit, a mid threes, and then just kept getting worse. He was walking everyone. He was not striking anybody out. It was like miraculous that he was even remotely serviceable in the Cardinals rotation for this long. And then things fell apart for him. But I think part of the reason is that he just was not like from a results perspective, he was not awful from day one, right? Like, he was giving the Cardinals a chance to win in a very sort of luck-oriented way, in that he would walk two guys and then induce a double play at a correct time, and then the next guy would line out, right? And these are things that I feel like he would just squeeze his way in and out of trouble like that. And that's just not a sustainable way of pitching. It's not something that you can just survive off walking like four guys in a game where you go 6 innings and you give up a couple of hits and you gave up a run, but you really should have probably given up more, depending on just like sequencing and things like that. So that I think was part of the problem, is that he was like fine for a little bit. And then after that, I mean, just building trade value, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you could build trade value at that point. I don't know which contending team would want that kind of pitcher on their roster. Like, I don't know. The Cardinals acquired J. Happ and John Lester in 2021, and that helped them get to the playoffs and win 17 games in a row. So who knows? Maybe somebody is crazy enough to give the Cardinals a Lane Thomas for that, right? Like, probably not. I doubt. If I had to bet on it, I would say that he ends up getting released and signs a minor league deal with like the White Sox or something, and tries to figure things out from there. I don't think that anybody's going to pick him up off waivers. I don't think anyone's going to take the money on. I don't think anyone's going to give the Cardinals anything for it. And my bold prediction on January 1st that Erick Fedde would regress big time and get you a fringe top 25 prospect was incorrect, because he was so bad that he just got cut, and it's not going to get really anything. Like, he might not even get a fringe. He might get like a fringe, like, winter league guy, right? At this point, right? Like, I don't know.
No, I don't think anybody would give you anything for Erick Fedde right now. Like, that's the thing. I don't know who in the world he'd start for. The only reason it would make any sense to acquire Erick Fedde right now, if you're an organization, is if you think somehow you could get him for nothing and then ship him for cash considerations after one start.
Apparently, you can trade with KBO teams, so maybe you'll get a fringe top 25 prospect in the KBO farm system. So,
I mean, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I don't know, maybe there's cash considerations to be had from an international team then, but I don't even know how that stuff works. And it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I truly think it's the stretch we've just witnessed is one of the worst stretches by a Cardinals pitcher ever. Like, it was really bad. We got to dig into the stats and look how terrible it was. But I mean, Erick Fedde this year pretty much got worse in every way from last year. If you just think about, like, for example, last year, his best pitch, probably his sweeper, which had an xWOBA of 246, which is really good. This year, that jumped up to 345. So over a 33 or almost a 33%, over a 33% increase right there on his best pitch. His other offerings didn't fare any better. None of his 4 pitches that he throws had an xWOBA below 345. So basically, no matter what Erick Fedde was throwing and no matter who he was throwing to, everybody was better than league average against him. All 4 of his pitches were producing average exit velocities over 85 miles an hour, 3 of them 90 or above. That's just terrible. People elevated everything he threw. His spin rates down across the board. Erick Fedde, I mean, this is terrible. He used his changeup to put people away some last year, generated 16.5% whiff rate, 14.4% put away rate. Those slid to 11.7% and 4.7% respectively this year. He just got worse across the board, and there's no positive spin to put on this. Erick Fedde's been terrible all year. If you built a pitcher in a lab to be as great as he could be, it'd probably look a lot like Paul Skeens. If you built a pitcher in a lab to be as terrible as he could be, his season would look a lot like Erick Fedde's has this year. And there's just nothing positive to say about it. He's in the 4th percentile of expected ERA. His expected ERA is 5.8. It's actually better than he's been somehow. He's generated -5 pitching runs with fastball run value, -3 with breaking run value, and -3 with off-speed run value for a cumulative -12 that ranks in the 7th percentile. Expected batting average, 5th percentile. Average exit velocity, over 91 miles an hour. Pretty much the average ball coming off of a bat against Erick Fedde was hard hit. So it's unfortunate that it had to happen this long, but that's where we are. The Cardinals gave him so many opportunities, and I think you can say that when you look back at this season, Erick Fedde is going to be a big reason the Cardinals didn't make the playoffs. Do you think that's like a fair statement, Andrew? Or because think about it, like they're 5-15 when he starts. If you had a league average pitcher, could you imagine if the Cardinals had done what we said they should have done? Traded Erick Fedde this offseason and signed another available pitcher, I don't know, like Jose Quintana, who we threw out there a number of times, who, by the way, got paid less than Erick Fedde got paid this year. If they had traded for him, or if they had traded Fedde away, signed Quintana, and let's say Quintana goes 10-10 in these 20 starts, you're looking at a team that's 5 games better than where the Cardinals are now. They're holding a playoff spot or right smack in the middle of the playoff race. And instead of selling at this deadline, which it seems like they're going to do now, especially coming after this loss, they're buying. Yeah, I think it's a huge mistake. And I know people say, hey, like let's be positive here, but it's true. This is a huge mistake by the Cardinals organization. And they're going to sell at this deadline. And they're going to sell because they made their bed before the season started with Erick Fedde and Miles Mikolas. The nice thing is that Fedde's off the rotation now. He's out of the rotation. So you get to go to McGreevy more often. But I mean, you still have a Mikolas problem. You still have a Palante problem. So I don't know if they're totally fixing things. Where are you on the state of the of the rotation moving forward, Andrew?
I mean, the rotation is certainly better with McGreevy slotted in there. I don't think he's going to continue. You know, this. I think the numbers that we see right now are probably the higher end of what he can produce at the major league level. Currently has a 3.49 ERA. And he's looked like a really solid, mature major league starter that, you know, can give you what you need every 5th day. But he'll have bad outings. He had a bad outing against the Dodgers earlier this season. He had a rough outing against the Cubs. Actually, that was actually worse than his start against the Dodgers. But, you know, he's had, 5 appearances this year. 3 of them have come against the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Cubs. 2 of them have come against the White Sox and the Rockies. So you're talking about facing some of the best offenses in baseball and some of the worst offenses in baseball. So I don't really know what that equates to. So he's faced teams that are just horrible and teams that are really, really amongst the top. And so I feel like what you're seeing right now, a mid-3s ERA is probably around the ceiling of what you're going to get out of Michael McGreevy. Obviously, pitching at Coors Field is difficult, even if the Rockies are terrible. Some of those guys have inflated stats, like Hunter Goodman and some of those other guys near the top of their order have some inflated stats because of Coors Field, and he did pitch at Coors Field. But you know, it was overall a very respectable outing from him. But I don't think the rotation is great by any means. Miles Mikolas is still there every 5th day. And honestly, if I could inject Erick Fedde's attitude into Miles Mikolas, that would probably be like a better bad pitcher. Like it just seems like Miles Mikolas is just not great for the clubhouse overall. Like his attitude doesn't seem to be he doesn't seem to be taking much accountability just for pitching poorly. And like his numbers and Erick Fedde's numbers are very comparable. I think Erick Fedde's peripherals and like the optics.
Erick Fedde's worse than Miles Mikolas. As bad as Mikolas has been,
I agree.
Mikolas is the blind squirrel that finds a nut every once in a while. Erick Fedde is the blind squirrel that has not seen a nut. Well, you can't find one at all. Like Erick Fedde hasn't given you a good start in forever. Mikolas at least occasionally goes out there and shoves. It's not
like
often.
The optics of Mikolas's stats are definitely a little bit better, but you're also like comparing like things that like it's not a good comparison to be having two of the worst starters in baseball on your team. Now, what do you replace Miles Mikolas with? Is that Steven Matz? Is he still stretched out? I don't know. He was stretched out in spring training. I don't think he would be stretched out anymore. Kyle Leahy looked really good yesterday. Like just not much to say about the way he pitched. Like it was great. Could see him slot into the rotation in the second half. I think this, without a doubt, has cemented the Cardinals as sellers at the deadline. You lost a game to the Rockies. That's a game you really just can't do. Like you can't do that in this league with the way the Cardinals have been playing recently. Just been bad. Not sweeping the Rockies and maybe potentially even losing the series to the Rockies tonight. It's just not acceptable. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. Palante could also have a really, really bad start. And I don't know. The game's starting really soon, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, they're in a really tough spot, though. I mean, you're absolutely right. And the hard thing is because between Fedde and Mikolas, like you're not very competitive 40% of the time. That's really tough. But it puts a ton of pressure on Palante, who needs to be really good if you're going to have a winning record. And then there's also pressure on Gray and Libby. Like when Gray doesn't, go out there and shove and you lose a Gray start, like that's really bad for you, because as great as Gray has been, what are they, like 15-7 when Gray pitches? They're 5-15 when Fedde pitches. Like that literally completely outweighs the bonus you get from the best pitcher on your roster, plus more. It's just really tough. It's really hard to be a competitive team with one or both of those guys starting. So yeah, you're right. It's a tough comparison to make because neither of them should be pitching in a big league rotation right now. And I think if you looked at any teams ahead of the Cardinals in the standings, none of them have had anybody. None of them have had a single pitcher be as bad as either of those two. I'd probably, that has made that many starts at least. I'd probably feel pretty good saying that. Like the Brewers rotation, the worst pitcher in their rotation's got like a 3.4 ERA. The Cardinals don't have anybody with an ERA under 4 right now. That's a big gap. And yeah, I don't think the Brewers offense is very good. I think it's kind of fluky, and I don't know if they're going to hang on and keep scoring the way they have, but they sure have a playoff caliber rotation and bullpen, something the Cardinals cannot say about their own rotation. The really unfortunate thing too for the Cardinals is like the lack of depth. You do go to McGreevy now, which is fine, but after McGreevy, who's the next guy up? I think the Kyle Leahy nuggets are interesting. Like each of his last 3 outings, I believe, has been 2 or more innings pitched. Last night, did he go 3 2/3?
Yeah, he did.
Like 49 pitches. He threw 46 2 outings ago. He threw 24 in another one. So that's a guy who's kind of gotten stretched out a little bit here. And if he just threw 50 pitches, who's to say next time out he can't throw 60 or 65 in one of these starts? And maybe within a few weeks, Leahy's ramped up and ready to make a few starts in September, maybe even by mid-August. You're feeling good about him starting and maybe pitching 5 innings. So maybe he gets an audition here. I see people in the comments saying that they want to go to Quinn Matthews, but I would advise against that right now. Quinn Matthews has had some trouble with the velocity on his heater. Yeah, he's a lefty. Yeah, he's generated a lot of strikeouts, but he's also got a 1.8 whip on the year. He's got like a 4.67 ERA at Memphis. He's only thrown 50 innings this year at Memphis across 12 starts. Like he's not giving you any length either right now in AAA. Here, 44 innings pitched, 12 starts. He has walked 44 in 44 innings at Memphis this year. He's only got 50 strikeouts to 44 walks. Like he is walking 8.9 batters per 9 innings pitched right now. Quinn Matthews has not had a very successful year down there. And when you factor in the fact that Jerpy is out indefinitely. Tink Hence is out again. Takeo Roby spent time on the injured list this year. The Cardinals are in a really tough spot there. But yeah, I don't know. It's very unfortunate. But before we get into the rest of this and maybe talk a little bit about the trade deadline, because it seems like the Cardinals are going to be sellers at this point, just a quick message from some of our sponsors here. So Through and Four Sports Cards and Collectibles is located at 9640 Olive Boulevard in Olivet, Missouri. They're open 10 to 6 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday. They buy, sell, and trade all sorts of sports cards, Pokemon cards, whatever you're looking for, they've got it. They have the newest selection of packs, boxes, and single cards from local players and stars around the league. So seriously, if you're looking for a specific card, if you just want to go rip some packs like Andrew does, check out 314. It's a great place to spend an afternoon. Everyone in there is very knowledgeable. They're very fun. Just a great spot to spend some time. Andrew has developed an addiction, as we've talked about on here before. That is his Erick Fedde card from the complete game he tossed earlier this year. Better times for sure. And then another message as well from one of our other sponsors here.
The Deal in the Cards podcast is proud to be partnered with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You're now eligible to play in Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and 37 other U.S. states. You got to check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. You just pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. If that sounds like fun, sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim your first free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We can't wait to see your entries.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
no more Erick Fedde free over-unders.
It's very sad. But I know a couple of you guys took advantage of that yesterday. So, maybe he'll sign on with another team and we'll still be able to do those pick'ems. But unfortunately, our days of posting the Erick Fedde higher walks, lower strikeouts is behind us.
Yeah.
He did fix his walk problem, though. He only walked one guy in his last 2 outings, I believe. So,
wow. And he actually got, 5 strikeouts last night?
Yeah. I mean, hey,
yeah, that's nice because he went multiple starts in a row with 0. So that's an improvement. But 6 runs at 3 innings to the Rockies is not going to do it. But yeah, so it seems to me, I mean, Andrew, I think at this point, I'd be shocked if the Cardinals don't sell. And I think if they lose the series tonight, the slump continues. And whether you're talking about the pitching or the offense that suddenly has gone completely non-existent, the slump continues. And you're looking at a team that I'd be shocked if they compete with San Diego in this next series. I'd be very happy if they split with San Diego. I don't think it's going to happen. And I think they're going to sell. I think they might not even soft sell at this point. They could hard sell. And what do you think that looks like? They've already moved on from one asset. Do you expect them to move on for more in the coming days? Or do you think Mo will kind of do what he does and hold his cards real close until right before the deadline?
I mean, I don't know if I would call Erick Fedde an asset. I think getting rid of him is just like making a trade as a buyer, to be honest.
Are the Cardinals buying?
No. I don't think there's any world where the Cardinals should buy unless they literally don't lose until the trade deadline, which I don't think will happen because they have to win 8 in a row against the Padres. The Marlins have been good. And then obviously again this afternoon against the Rockies. But I think, there's so many players that they could trade at the deadline that I don't know how many they will trade. I think you go to Miles Mikolas and you tell him, hey, because apparently teams are interested in him, which is crazy. I don't know who would be, but apparently I've heard that Miles Mikolas has drawn some interest. I don't know who it's from. I don't
offload that some of the money.
The Cardinals would probably have to eat the majority of the remaining money, but and probably not get really anything back in return. But apparently Miles Mikolas is a hot commodity. Not a hot commodity, but somebody that people want.
He's a commodity.
So I would tell Miles Mikolas and be like, hey, you're either gonna approve this trade to this team or we're gonna cut you. Right? That's kind of it, right? There's no other reason. You either get your whatever back for Miles Mikolas, probably not even an Adam Kloffenstein kind of return, probably not even that.
Stock the vending machine for a year.
Yeah, right. Like, you're not going to get a lot for that guy, but you tell him, hey, you're either getting DFA'd or we're going to trade you here, and you're going to waive your no trade clause. And there's no other option because you can start Leahy. Matthews doesn't look great, but like there's like literally anybody else because Michaelis won't be on the team at this point. Next season.
But I would not start Quinn Matthews or Quinn.
No,
Matthews.
I wouldn't either.
I don't think they should do that.
But like there's got to be somebody. Like I would rather see Rich Hill go out and pitch because it's a different face, right? Like whatever.
I get that.
And he's not a positive contributor in the clubhouse either. Like all the comments that he makes about weak contact, I just made a couple bad pitches. It's not the kind of attitude you want to be showing your young guys. Like, is that really who Michael McGreevy needs to be looking up to? Like, there's no veteran leadership there either. Like, none of that is happening.
I don't know how qualified we are to say that, to be honest. Like, I get where you're coming from. It's just like, what do you want Miles Michaelis to say in the post game? Like,
say what Erick Fedde says. I was sucked today, and
I guess
to the team.
But clearly, that mindset.
Erick Fedde is providing a better example than Miles Michaelis at this point.
I guess, but like the Erick Fedde, I was terrible mindset isn't helping him either. Like it's just you just don't want to be in a spot where anybody has to make a comment like that in a post game.
Right. Like
it's just a terrible place to be in as a team and an individual.
Right. But my point is, he can't be on the team. Sell him, whatever. Call it whatever you want. Are you adding by getting rid of addition by subtraction? Probably. That's what I would call it.
I mean, they just added by getting rid of Erick Fedde.
Like
the team is better today than it was.
Well, Michael McGreevy has stayed. They didn't option him back.
Yeah,
and I think they were. I think they were waiting for the Fedde start yesterday to see what would happen and then decide. And I think if Fedde had pitched well, they might have cut Michaelis today. I don't know, because they would be an arm down in the bullpen.
That's an interesting thought. Well, they get Granillo up too, which is nice.
Yeah, because they needed an extra arm because they had 6 starters on the roster.
Yeah.
But that's got to happen. I think every single bullpen arm that has any amount of appeal, that's not like Riley O'Brien, who has multiple years of control after this, is like every reliever who's not like a pre-arb guy, I think should be shopped. I think Helsley's gone for sure. Maton should be gone. Matz should be gone. JoJo, 100%, sell high. Like, I know he could be great next year for you. You need a high leverage lefty, but like he's pitching on another level right now, and he's pitching better than he ever has in his career. And he only has 1 year left of control. There's the same mistake they made with Helsley. The chances that JoJo is this good again next year is so low that you just have to, right? Get something back for him. Like if you can get something,
the expected metrics are backing up everything that JoJo's doing right now. Like he's got an expected ERA under 3 still, expected batting average
JoJo
percentile.
With that extra year of control, probably gets you more than any other player on this roster. Helsley's expensive.
It's definitely possible.
He's been bad. Maton only has this year. He's also costing, I think, more money probably than JoJo. Matt's is expensive. And JoJo has an extra year of control, and he's been probably the best out of everyone for the last 3 months.
He's been so good. I mean, he's in like the 94th percentile in terms of ground ball rate. He's been elite.
Yeah, and if you can trade Arenado, you do it right now. Because I don't think he wants to play for this team anymore. Like, to be perfectly honest. Giovanni Gallegos is rotting in the Dodgers system. I think he's on the 60th.
Andrew does not like Gio. I was a Gio stan for many years, and I still
today has been a better day than
the great things he gave to us.
I was happier today than I was when Giovanni Gallegos got DFA. And that's saying something because I was very happy that day. That was like, I don't know. That was a great day for me too. But like they all need to be gone. Arenado, but then like after that, like any other pieces, I think you talk to Gray and Contreras. If you can offload the Gray money, honestly, I think you do it.
I would do it. I hate to say it, but like if you could move Sonny Gray, he's going to cost you $35 million next year. He's going to be 36 years old. I think I'd probably consider moving Sonny Gray if you got a chance. Now the tough thing is like. I think the Cardinals got better by moving on from Fedde. I think if they move on from Michaelis, they also get better. I think obviously every reliever you trade, you get marginally worse. I think if you move like more than two of these like if you move two of them, you probably can still cobble together a solid back end bullpen. The Cardinals right now, according to most metrics, have top 5, top 7 bullpen in baseball. And Helsley hasn't really been a huge reason why. Granted, the 9th inning is always tougher to pitch than other innings just because of the pressure that comes with it. And while Helsley, the expected numbers haven't looked amazing, like for the most part, he's locked it down. He hasn't blown too many saves, although more than we're accustomed to with Ryan Helsley. But if you move on from him, it doesn't kill you. I think if you move on from Matz and Romero, though, in addition to Helsley, your bullpen probably gets at least probably substantially worse. I do like Swanson. I do like Granillo. I think they have plenty of interesting arms. Leahy, maybe he gets to start, though. Some of these other guys, I really like O'Brien, but there's a walk issue. But like once you move on from too many of them, yeah, you're no longer contending. And if you're no longer going to contend, then it's time to definitely move on from Gray. Would you say Gray is the most important player to this team right now?
Probably.
Yeah, not like valuable for long term.
Without Gray, your rotation is probably the worst rotation in baseball because you got
the Rockies' rotation is still worse.
Okay, fair enough. I forgot.
But yeah, no, you're right up there. Like you might be worse than the White Sox.
Yeah, the White Sox
guys that have been okay.
Yeah, I mean, like Liberatore's been fine. And then you look at the rest of your rotations. Palante, who's been bad. It's Michaelis, who's been bad. It's McGreevy, who is solid. I think he could be solid, like 4. But he'll be your second starter at that point. And then I don't even know who's after that. Like Kyle Leahy, Quinn Matthews, like Drew Rom. Is that where we're going with this? Like we could be in 2023 territory, which honestly, I think that's fine, right? Like I'm not worried about that. You're not going to get your draft pick. You might pick 10, but like I think if Contreras and Gray are both willing to move on, I think you move on from both of them. And then your payroll next year is so low that you could go out and add meaningful pieces. Like Contreras is towards the end of his prime. Like he's probably not going to be even this good next year. I think Gray, like obviously he's not going to be worth $35 million next year. But you backloaded that contract, so you knew that going in that was going to be the case. But after that, like I'm looking right now, if you trade those guys, other than Garrett Hampson, I don't think there's a single guy who's not who's like on a veteran contract. That's the only one who I see on here that's like not in ARB or pre-ARB right now. And like Garrett Hampson's not going to be on our team next year. No. If you can trade Garrett Hampson for something, do it. I don't know. What are you going to get for him? I don't care. But everyone else on this team, Nootbaar, Donovan, like Lars Nootbaar might be your highest paid player going into the offseason, which would be great. Because then you can kind of form Heim can actually truly form the team how he wants, sign the guys that he wants, bring in the major league talent he wants. And I could see this team like really potentially going all in and trying to compete next year, right? Because they're like you freed up all your money. There's no money left on the books. Yeah, except whatever you're paying to Arenado, of his contract if you trade.
I think that moving on from Gray is probably wise if the right opportunity presents itself. I mean, if you move on from Gray, you flush the season down the toilet. Like you're saying, we're not going to contend. We're going to be. Really
I don't think you should contend. You're 3.5 games out of the wild card, of the third wild card.
I know. But what you're saying is like we're not even going to compete for the rest of the year. Like we're going to be really bad, which is fine. But I don't think you have to move on from Contreras. The contract is not that bad. Contreras, I mean, look, he's still been an above average bat for you, and he's having a down year. The expected metrics are not terrible for a Wilson.
I mean, his OPS is up near 800 now. That might be cores, but like still, it's been good recently.
Yeah, I mean, let me look at this real quick, but like this is still a guy who's a really good hitter. You realize he's in the 87th percentile for xWOBA this year. Like he's underperformed his numbers substantially. I'm still a big believer in Contreras. Still has elite bat speed. He's been one of the best defensive first basemen. Like Contreras should contend for the Gold Glove this year. He's got 7 outs above average at first base. He's been outstanding. He's in the 95th percentile among first basemen. On a rolling basis, he's never at any point this year been like a below league average bat, and he's trending up again. This is a guy that I would keep. You need some veteran presence in your lineup next year, and he's a guy that you can count on to continue to be a good bat. Contreras, 780 OPS right now, and it probably should be higher. I would not move on from him. I also just don't know, like, you could move on from Contreras, which would allow you to play Burleson at first, but defensively, that's going to be a big downgrade. Like,
it also gives you the chance to play Ivan at first.
Sure, but we take for granted the idea that anyone can learn first base, and I don't think that's always true. Like, there really has been no drop off from Goldschmidt to Contreras defensively at first base, especially after the first few weeks of the season. Like, you can't even tell that Contreras hasn't played first base his whole career. He's fantastic over there. He's been much better than people anticipated. He's truly one of the premier defensive first basemen in baseball right now. And I think
I do agree.
I would not move on
very good defensively over there. But I also do think there might be a correlation with catching and playing first base, because I feel like a lot of the motions that you do, like picking ground balls or picking like throws and stuff like that, are very like catcher things. You know, like that's a catcher trait that like catchers also have to pick. Like, not in the same sense, but like it is hard. Like, you would have to spend the offseason like really working hard and trying to learn how to play first base. But you don't need an arm to play first base. That's Herrera's like defect as a catcher right now.
Yeah.
So I think opening up first base for Herrera would be like, at least like by clearing off the money for Contreras, also you get something in return for Contreras. Like, I think like Gray, you probably just offload. Or you eat some money and get something back. But Contreras, I do think, like, if he was open to moving, would actually get you something back in return. Like, potentially a guy that's like top 10 in your system. And then, like, you also open first base for a Burleson or a Herrera or whoever you like want, because there's just log jams all over the place. You have like 4 DH first guys, like Gorman, Herrera, Burleson,
but like,
are all guys that
has Gorman done enough for you to be in their plans for next year? Like, Gorman's got a league average OPS. He had a lot of chances, and he's shown you the same thing that he showed you in previous years. Like, he's really streaky. Gorman could be a starter on a lot.
If you remove the like first 2 months where he was just like horrendous and was like could not figure out his swing, after he made those swing changes with Brant Brown, I think he was a productive hitter. And he has power that you don't have. Like, you just don't have that anywhere in the system. Contreras
has power. Contreras leads the team in home runs right now. He leads the team in home runs right now, and I'm sorry. Like, it's fine for Gorman to stick around. Like, I'm not saying they should just offload Gorman for nothing. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to count on Gorman next year to be a regular. I'm not going to do that. We can treat Gorman next year the same way we treated him this year, where if he wants opportunities, he's going to have to earn them by playing well. I think that moving on from Contreras is working backwards. I know you have other guys you want to play, but there's no reason you can't try Ivan in the outfield. And I think it'll work. I actually am a believer in Ivan playing out there. Contreras played in the outfield early in his career, actually, with Chicago a few times, and it wasn't terrible. Like, it wasn't the worst thing we've ever seen. It's not easy to play anywhere on a baseball diamond. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's going to be a seamless transition for Herrera, but he's sneaky athletic. I think he'll be all right out there. He's got pretty good baseball instincts. I think he's going to be able to figure it out. And they've turned Alec Burleson into like a passable defender, maybe something more than passable, like a guy that you can actually stick out there every once in a while and feel pretty good about it. So I'm fine with them continuing to play in the outfield. I also just think, again, like, as solid and as fun as Alec Burleson's season has been, like, hasn't Contreras been a better hitter than him to this point now? What's Burleson's?
No, he hasn't.
What's Burleson's OPS right now? Is it still over 800?
Still in the 800s.
Okay,
you're just a Burleson hater. I'm not. Man. You just
I'm
don't
not.
like
I'm
him.
not. No, I'm not. But he doesn't bring you the defensive value that Contreras brings you, and he's not nearly as established as Contreras is as a bat. I think you're working backwards.
Also,
I think
making like $18 million less.
Sure. Well, is he still pre-arb?
Yeah.
Is next year his first arb?
Probably not next year. I think he's arb1 next year.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever the case, I just think that you're working backwards if you subtract one of the only like surefire above average hitters in your lineup next year. Contreras has been an above average hitter for each of the last like 7 seasons. And I'd expect that to continue into next year, especially with how good the underlying metrics are right now. I would not be subtracting him from your lineup. If the Cardinals should learn anything from a year like this, it's that you need to have as few black holes in your lineup as possible, because there are days where it's Pedro Pajes, Victor Scott, slumping Lars Nootbaar, with Erick Fedde on the mound. And it's like, it's an unwinnable game. You know, they've had days like that this year where you just feel like you look at the lineup card and you're like, there's no way they win this game. And Jordan Walker is in the outfield.
I'll give Jordan Walker his credit, though. Since the All-Star break, he's been
pretty good. He's been pretty good. Yeah, I saw that if we'd played in like any other ballparks, he'd have 3 bombs. Instead, they've all been doubles and flyouts, which is really sad.
Yeah, right. Like, I'll need to see some pitching and like him hitting in like a real ballpark, like not Coors or.
But I'd like to see the Cardinals.
I'd
like to see the Cardinals decide to go offense first next year. Like, put a lineup out there that instead of valuing, because the Cardinals this year are one of the best defensive teams in baseball. And like, look how far it's getting them right now. They can't score. They can't score at all. And they haven't scored at all in the last month.
I think they would have a playoff spot if Miles Michaelis and Erick Fedde were league average.
Yeah, I think so too. But Miles
even
Michaelis
like 10% below league average.
Yeah, but they're so far from that, and it doesn't matter. And also, like, I don't know how much winning they'd be doing in these recent Erick Fedde starts because they've given 0 run support. The offense over the last month has been tragically bad. It's terrible when you have Nootbaar and Wynn slumping the way they have, along with the rest of this team, like just collectively not hitting very well. Herrera missing so much time. I'm just saying I would not be removing one of the only bats you can count on next year. Also, like, how are you replacing?
I think you could sign a guy
on a team that's already struggling offensively. Do you think the Cardinals are going to go out there and get a 120 WRC plus bat? Like, is there going to be one of those available, and are the Cardinals going to make that happen?
Because Contreras was available who else not that much as a catcher. And that,
yeah,
and they paid a premium for that.
I think Contreras was undervalued. I think we can say Contreras deserved more money than he got, especially if he was going to keep catching. Definitely undervalued. But hey, does Josh want to jump in for a second though? He's in the comments section now.
Yeah, hop in. Tell us what you think. You missed.
Get in here, Josh.
Josh has been at work all day. He's missed a big news day. This is.
I know, big time stuff going on.
But I did not think we would have an emergency podcast until the deadline. But here we are. I definitely I think you move off because you can sign guys like with that much money, you could probably sign like 6 free agents next year, like in the offseason. And people are going to say, the Cardinals don't do that, but like,
what kind of free agents are they going to sign though? Like, I think I'd be surprised if the payroll next year is higher than it was this year. And no matter how many,
I think they'll buy into this team more next year. I think they have.
You think the payroll? Do you think it's going to go up by that much? Like, what's the payroll right now? Like 135.
Yeah, but the payroll will be at like nothing. Like if they trade Gray, Arenado, Contreras,
if they're able to offload Gray, that's going to change.
But we don't even know if that's possible because they might not. Like Contreras and Gray might just be like, we're on this team.
Well, I think Contreras isn't going to let himself leave anyway because he just wants to play here,
right?
Which is crazy because this front office has treated him pretty poorly. The fan base has treated Contreras without they have not given him the respect he deserves.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Like, even with that, there's so much room to sign players next year, and I think you offload as much as you can this deadline to do that.
I think I'm good with offloading a lot. I don't think I'd offload Contreras. I want a veteran presence in my lineup. I want a holdover. Like, you need somebody that was playing on this team last time they were good.
Donovan.
Well, Contreras played in 2023, but you need somebody with some clout.
Donovan, Nootbaar, Wynn, even Walker and Gorman were there.
Yeah,
Gorman
they're tenured. Yeah, Gorman showed up at the end of 22. Donovan showed up in 22.
Liberatore was called up in 22 as well. Like, he was a reliever.
Yeah, but you can't. Liberatore hasn't had a consistent role in the team until last year.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Alante has been years back as 22 too, as well. Like,
yeah, but again, hadn't really had a consistent role in the team until last year. I guess he was coming out of the bullpen a lot in 22.
No, he was good in 22 before the.
Yeah, he was bad in 22.
That has ruined him.
But you need a veteran presence in your lineup. You need a guy that you can count on. And I don't think Contreras is going to be your best hitter next year. I really hope that's Ivan Herrera, or maybe another guy breaks out. Like, maybe Jordan Walker has a good year next year. I would love that. That'd be really fun. But I would not be subtracting offense from a team right now that desperately needs it when you don't know who's going to be available this offseason and you don't know who they're going to be able to get. I do not believe that 120 WRC plus bats with fairly team-friendly deals grow on trees, especially guys that play great defense at a position, even if that position is first base. Contreras has been outstanding, and there'd be I would expect a sizable drop off if you put Burleson or Herrera at first base instead of him. And people were expecting a huge drop off from Goldie, and Contreras has actually been better this year than Goldie has, I believe. So he's been nothing but fantastic. I just, I don't know. And that's the other reason why I'm out on the Donnie trade stuff as well. I really hope they don't do that. I'd love to see them keep at least him and Contreras around. I'm fine with trading almost anybody else, including Lars Nootbaar if you have to. Although, I don't know, you're probably selling low on Nootbaar.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have plenty of trade deadline talk in the next. I mean, we got nothing else to talk about, I guess, for the rest of the season. It seems to be.
Maybe the Cardinals go on a run and they're like 2 games out with a week to play.
That would be fun. Seems like the game has started, which is cool. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us. We got up to 60 viewers, even though the game is starting. I guess people don't want to watch the games anymore, which is still valid.
Yeah, if the Cardinals are going to sell, I mean, do the games matter that much? Hey, the Cardinals have 2 on, dude. That's awesome.
For Contreras. And their starter, who is their starter? I've never heard of this guy. He's made 3 career starts. Great.
Oh my gosh.
So we're getting shut out today. But anyway.
The Rockies pitching staff is actually so unbelievably bad. Oh, he's walked the first 2 batters too.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll be here for the trade deadline talk. Next Thursday is trade deadline day.
Yeah.
So we'll be on here, I think, doing another live stream event similar to our draft stream. It won't be that long because the deadline is a lot shorter than the draft, but we're excited.
Yeah, we're hoping to bring some fun content. Hopefully the Cardinals make a bigger trade than Dylan Carlson for Sean Armstrong while we're live this year. Yeah. That'd be nice.
That would be
just real quick, not counting Fedde because that's already happened.
Yeah.
Over under 2.5 moves made by the Cardinals between now and the deadline. You'll take the over?
I think because Michaelis, I think, is gone. Hopefully.
Okay. How many moves? If I set it at 3.5, would you take the over? I think that's a tough line.
I think it'd be. I want it to be over. I want it to be like 5 or 6 moves, but I think.
Yeah, I think I do too.
I think it's gonna be 3 or 4. So I think that's a good line.
And before we go today, do you think? I mean, we're going to talk about this option hopefully, but it might become less realistic between now and our next stream. Do you think there's a world in which the Cardinals get creative and without buying, they find a way to acquire an intriguing starter, even a guy that's currently in AAA or something like that? Even if it's a sell move, do you think there's a way they get better for next year or for the rest of this year while selling off assets?
I think they'll get better for next year. They're going to get guys like they're going to get guys that are like close to Major League Rally that'll be on the team next year. I'm sure. They're not going to get guys that are like years away because I don't think that's their window. I think their window's opening next year. Like the start of the window with JJ coming up, and
I hope so.
Maybe Boyle and some of those guys. But
hey, maybe we see JJ this year.
And apparently, people are interested in John King. So I don't know why, but.
Man, can you imagine if the Cardinals traded Sonny Gray, Lars Nootbaar, and 5 relievers? That would be and Nolan Arenado. That would be an insane deadline.
It'd be fun. I don't think Lars Nootbaar. I think Lars Nootbaar is an off-season trade if it does happen. But
yeah, unless someone blows you away right now, I think I'm with you. And I think if you trade Nootbaar, you're selling low on a guy that still has value and still is putting up numbers that StatCast really likes. But it's been a tough season for Nootbaar. Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be back off the IL, but he's having pain.
Yeah, that's
apparently Gorman's closer than Nootbaar is to returning, which is not good.
That is not good because didn't Gorman just hit the IL? Yeah, Nootbaar's inability to stay healthy, compounded with the other problems, just stinks. Also, the Cardinals did not score in the first inning after drawing 2 walks in the first 3 hitters, so that's really fun.
Okay.
But yeah, it is what it is. Well, a little bit of a downer podcast today, but also positive. Erick Fedde's off the team. Miles Michaelis could be off the team soon. They're getting better by subtracting. So these are really good things. But we'll have all sorts of trade deadline coverage for you guys in the next few days. I would expect some big moves from the Cardinals in terms of selling. So we'll see you guys next time. We do have a stream between now and the deadline, right? We might have 2 between now
Yeah,
and the
we'll have,
deadline.
I think, 1 or 2. We'll see. And you'll have Birds on the Farm. I'm sure you guys will break down all the prospects we get back at the trade deadline on Birds on the Farm. You guys got more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we had a really fun Birds on the Farm stream recapping the draft yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. The Cardinals, Kareem and I believe, killed it this year. Big breath of fresh air for the organization. It's clear that Heim is now making decisions in terms of the future and player development. So maybe that impacts this trade deadline as well. But anyways, until next time, we'll see you guys.